Good morning, good morning, good morning, my beautiful peas. Happy Friday! Yay! We made it. It's the end of the week. Time to celebrate. Share your yay. And my yay is seeing all of you in here this morning. Good morning, Annie7. Good morning, Pat Moss. Brandy Chari. Good morning, darling. Thank you for checking on me last night. Deirdre, hello, hello. Blue Jean. And all the kiddos, especially my pocket. Good morning, Kathy Hand. Andrea Gregg, hi, there you are. Good morning, good morning. Well, let's start the day off right. Let's go into our hearts. Touching the heart center. We breathe in slowly, intentionally, bringing in love into our heart. Relax that breath out. Breathe it in again. This time, put a smile on your face. Why do we do that? Because, as Marietta teaches us, it is spirit magnifying incredible loving energy. So smile at yourself, smile at the world, and hold somebody in your heart. Bring them right in there and give them a big old heart hug. I got so many heart hugs last night. I think my body hurts. But thank you to everyone who checked on me last night through the storm. And yeah, it was kind of a rough going there for a few hours. Actually, that storm really lasted a long time. So hello, and happy Friday, and thank you everyone who's finding it. Hi, Sue Seacoff. Sue is on EWN Enlightened Living, and so if you haven't found that channel yet, I know y'all like to gravitate to the same place. We're not streaming on EWN. We're not streaming on Enlightened World Network anymore because there was a conflict with timing. So we moved over to EWN Enlightened Living. If you haven't gone there yet, go like the page, and that way you'll get notified when we're live on there. And Hope Wellington Marshall, good morning across the big pond to you and Zena and the girls. So, anybody got a yay? I've got several. A big yay is that I made it through the night. We had a horrible thunderstorm, in case you didn't hear. And it started really beautifully. I was sitting on my computer working on midnight calls, and the room started lighting up. And I'm going, where's that light coming from? And then I look out the window, and the whole sky is lighting up. You know, I love lightning storms. I love just watching them, not necessarily being in them, but watching the energy of the lightning as it comes across the sky. But this one, it wasn't like your streaks of lightning that happen. It was lighting the entire sky up. It was just incredibly powerful. So it got worse and worse. The thunder came in, and then the heavy rainstorms came in. And then I got the Amber Alert that we were under a tornado warning. It's like, oh, yay. Because where I am, I haven't given you all a tour of this house, but it's mostly glass, you guys. It's like there are so many windows and sliding doors, and everything here is just glass. And I'm thinking, okay, so this could get interesting. A tornado warning, and um, I'm in a house of glass. so So I did figure out I could go into the hallway and close off the doors to the other rooms, and there's no windows in the hallway. so, so little Magi and I retreated to the hallway. She wasn't real happy. Well, she wasn't happy about the thunder anyway. So we went into the hallway and we stuck it out there until things seemed to settle down. My phone battery was almost dead, so I had to plug that in and get it recharged. and I was communicating with Ruth Anderson, and I told her finally, I said, it sounds kind of quiet outside, so I'm just going to open up and see what's going on. And it was a quiet spot where, in between, I guess, the bands of the storm. So I was able to take little Magi out to do her business because she had been whining. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go out in a tornado to take you potty. so, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And I really appreciate all of you when I reached out, saying your prayers and checking on me to see if I was okay. And yes, as you can see, there she is back there behind me. We both survived it. And yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, when the storms come through? I didn't get to do the blog last night because I was afraid to turn my computer on with all the lightning that was going on. I didn't want it to fry my computer, and then I would really not be able to communicate with you guys. Pat Moss, good morning. Her yay is it's a day of work. Morning, Charlie. Oh, thank you, Annie. That's what showers are for. Well, there's actually a window in the bathroom. There's windows everywhere. So, yeah, we survived. We made it through. Um, I had no clue that was coming. I know it said it was going to rain, which it did a lot, but I didn't know it was going to be an intense thunderstorm like that. Good morning, Brookie. So, good morning, Sally and Tony. Your Friday is it's not raining or snowing and the sun is out. Yay! That's a big yay. What else we got? Brandy, my Friday is blue. Thank you for my kitty class on Kuan Yin, Reiki, and the grid. I'm ready for the beginner class. I now understand enough to learn more. Awesome. Blue says we again are having bad wind, storms, connections very tentative, whiteout winds. Ooh, good. Marietta, so glad you are safe. Your angels are always with you. Always, always, always. Absolutely. Good morning, Leo. So even though I don't have an angel message to give to you, I found this interesting story about a storm. And so I'd like to share that because I think when we hear this story, we'll understand about how to release and let go when the storms of life are coming our way. So this is a story about a friend's grandfather. She had went to visit her grandfather, and he was a fisherman in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And he tells the story of the day a storm came when he was alone out on Lake Michigan working his fishing nets. So Sally and Tony, you might can relate to this story of how tenuous it can be out there on Lake Michigan when a storm comes through. And he says, without warning, the dark clouds came in and just were all around him. The waves of rain came dumping down in sheets. He quickly finished what he was doing, started his boat, put it into gear, and headed for shore. The waves grew bigger and bigger as the rain poured down on him. Now, if you've never been to Lake Michigan, you probably won't understand how intense this is because it's a huge lake. So he says the waves grew bigger and bigger. The boat started to fill with water. He pushed the throttle all the way forward, hoping to get home as quickly as possible. But it was a simple fishing boat, and it was not powered or designed to move fast. So things got worse. The rain was falling in sheets that poured down into his boat. Waves broke over the stern, filling the boat with water. Looked around, and he didn't even have a bucket in the boat or anything to bail water with. All he had was his hands. He kept motoring to home as fast as the boat would go, but it seemed like he was fighting a losing battle. The waves were breaking over the sides of the boat, and it started sinking lower and lower into the water. The water was getting so deep in the boat that the upper sides of the boat grew close to the water line. Once they reached the water line, there would be nothing keeping the boat afloat. He eventually decided that his situation was hopeless. He was too far from shore. His boat was going to sink. So what he was doing wasn't helping the situation. He pulled the throttle back to idle as he thought about his options. He said he started looking for anything on the boat that would float because he realized this is probably not going to end well. So once he pulled the throttle back, a surprising thing happened. The bow of the boat dropped down and the stern settled higher in the water. Everything came up above the waterline and the stern was floating better. The waves were lifting and passing around and under the stern rather than dumping into and filling the boat. The storm he was trying to outrun started to pass over him and move ahead of him. By giving up and doing the opposite of what seemed logical, he had saved himself. The storm passed, and he was able to get back to his dock. He was shaken and wet, but otherwise perfectly fine. He'd been doing what any of us would do when a storm came. He was trying to flee and get to safety. But by doing that, he was putting himself and his boat into peril. It was only after he accepted his fate that it was hopeless and nothing was going to turn out well that he was saved. So, thinking about this and thinking about storms, the question is, do I run away from the storms of life? Or do I pull back the throttle and say, okay, let's see what happens here, and just wade through the storm? Do you run, doing whatever you can to avoid conflict, or do you stay and face it? Those of you that know me know that I hate conflict. Conflict, even saying something to somebody that I think is going to be upsetting, I just steer away from that because I enjoy peace and I want peace in my life and in others' lives. So what I've learned and what this story shows is that I'm much more likely to try to calm things down if I calm down. When conflict comes up, just push that throttle all the way to idle and just be, just simply be and watch what happens. So wisdom is that we need to know that there are times to steer clear of conflict, pushing that throttle all the way forward and getting away from it. And there are times to embrace it. Sometimes we need to go through the storm to get through the other side. And so it's huge. It's really a huge lesson about storms. And I was thinking last night as I was going through my storm about some of the storms I've been through in life, both the physical storms and the the emotional storms. And one storm that I went through, and I'd love to share this story with you. We're doing a story time ongoing here this morning. So many of you know that I used to ride a motorcycle. And there was one night I was in Florida, on the west coast of Florida, on the Gulf side. And those storms, they roll in so fast and furious. You don't really have a lot of warning. You can see them when the squalls are out there. You can see the storm, but you don't know if it's coming at you or if it's going another direction. So anyway, I was riding my motorcycle and I had a companion on the back, and she was a tiny little thing. She weighed like nothing. We had stopped to eat dinner at a restaurant, and just that bit of time where we had stopped to eat, the storm had built and built, and it was coming closer to the shore. So we saw the clouds, we felt the raindrops start to come down, and we thought, oh, we need to get back to the campground where we were all camping out. So we left, and somehow I got separated from the other riders. Well, this storm came down in just bucketfuls. I couldn't even see the road, you guys. And here I am with a passenger on the back. So my thought was about her. It wasn't even about me. I'm like, I have to get this person to safety. So I somehow made it. Well, somehow I know the angels did it, but the only thing I could do, since I couldn't even see the road, I had to look at lights. So there were some light poles with lights, and I just was able to follow the lights and eventually get to, I think it was a causeway. There was something that I had to go over where there was more lighting there. And I made it safely there. And then the campground was not far from that. So I was able to feel my way to the campground, and all the other riders were there, and they're like, "Where were you? Where did you go?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just rode. I finally made it here." So sometimes when we can't even see through the pouring rain and the pouring emotional rain, it's okay, because we intuitively are guided by spirit, and we can find our way back to safety, back to where we're supposed to be, back home. And we're always being walked home by spirit. So that's my story. It happened, oh my goodness, I don't even know how long ago it was. I want to say it was the early 90s. So that was quite a while ago that happened. And as much as I loved writing, that was one of the worst experiences to make it through, was through that storm. So storms, they come. We're not going to be able to stop the storms, just like nothing could have stopped that bad thunderstorm that came through last night. All right, so let's see what y'all got going on. Blue reconnected, and her yay is, "I'm safe in my sweet house." Yay! Brookie, our Friday is that it is Friday. We're excited to make a trip over to the natural food and garden store to get some good local bulk food items. Yay! And Sally says, "They are amazing when the storms come. The cloud formations make for phenomenal photos. The energy is just crazy amazing. However, they come in so quickly sometimes that you can barely take cover, and the rains can be extremely hard, and the waves can be massive. And if you didn't know this, Lake Michigan used to be in the ocean and off the area of Ludington, Michigan. There's an area where there is Lake Michigan Stonehenge sitting beneath the water." I know, Sally, you told me that. When I went to Lake Michigan with Sally and Tony, we did a memorial there for our Ricky and Corey. If y'all remember the little 10-year-old who passed in the UK, the same day that Ricky did, we put a little boat out into Lake Michigan and sent off a little memorial with Ricky and Corey's name and their date of birth and their death date. And it was just so beautiful to be there on that lake. We also did a land blessing there and left some stones and a Peace on Earth tour stone. And it is beautiful, Brandy. I hope you can see it sometime. Sue says, "I'm much more likely to be able to calm things down. If I calm down and just be, create peace. There are times to be clear of conflict and times to embrace it." Yeah, that's what this whole message from the angels is all about. And even though they didn't give me a written message last night, they brought me to this story and to this message about the storms. When have you chosen to calm down in the face of a storm, a challenge, or a conflict? Thank you, Sue, for putting that message out there. That's a big lesson for all of us, is how do we handle those storms of life? I didn't go into fear meltdown when the tornado warning came, but I went into action. I said, okay, what can I do? I started looking for options. What can I do? And Kathy says, "I love that story. It reminds me of Bob and I on some of our motorcycle trips, pressing on slowly and steady through rough weather, through the highways of Virginia in sleet and freezing rain." Yeah. And I also relate in our family's steadfast journey through addiction, patience, and persistence. Absolutely, Kathy. You've been through some storms of life. Good morning, Jennifer. And Sally said that was Lake Huron, and we did the land blessing on Lake Michigan. We've taken you to two of our Great Lakes. Yes, I want to see all of them. I'm greedy that way. All right, let's see what Kuan Yin has to say, and then we'll get some messages from the tiny book. I hope you all really understood and are thinking about storms of life with this message this morning. Kuan Yin says her hand gentles the war or the storm, whichever it may be. No matter how much chaos there seems to be in your world, trust it. It is just what is necessary to move you into the right place at the right time for what is meant to be in your future. When it is no longer needed, her hand shall gentle and end the war or the storm. Thank you, Kuan Yin. We needed that message for sure. And Sally said, it took me about 6 months to begin settling into that storm and just riding the waves out of life and everything that I'm going through right now. And Tony, too. It took her a minute to ride those waves out. And when we do, things turn for the better. It may not be exactly what we want, but it will turn for the better. And if we choose and hold on to those waves and keep riding them, we're going to keep on that path. That's the whole key, isn't it? Keep on keeping on. What does Teri say? Never, ever, 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 ever give up. Keep persisting, keep moving, keep trusting and believing that you're making it through. And you will. You will, absolutely. So we have 3 tiny books. I just love this. I love that we have 3 of them. I dreamed last night that my supply of tiny books is on its way and that it was delivered to the front door. So we'll see if that happens today. I hope that was a precognitive dream. So anyway, I have some on the way, and I'm hoping to do some book signings somewhere. I'm just putting that out there to the angels and letting these books take wing and go where they need to go. So let's get some messages from our angels. Who would like a message? I love the new one. We haven't read a whole lot in that, but we also have the other 2. So let me know what you would like to hear from the angels this morning. And exciting, exciting, exciting. For the last 2 years, the angels have nudged me to do like an index of topics that are in the messages from them. So I have a volunteer who is phenomenal, and that is our Brandy Chari. And Brandy has agreed to help do the topics for Midnight Calls, Sunlight for the Soul. And she is in the process of working on it. So if you have the book when it comes out and you want to know what message would really help me if I'm going through grief right now, then there will be an index that says grief is in this message or that message. So, Brandy, thank you for being so amazing and for helping out with getting these books the way they really need to be, where they're just really a guide for us for whatever life brings our way, whatever storms. And Sally says, Tony and I are talking about the next time you come in, we'd like to spend a few days up on Lake Superior, maybe do a small retreat. Let's do it. That would be an awesome place to do our day of silence, is on that lake. I would love that, Sally. Let's get that planned. And Brookie says, I posted something on Facebook the other day that seemed to be creating a bit of a storm. It was such an energetic drain to keep responding to those who have their ways and want to impose them on me rather than hear what I'm saying. Then a relative jumped on to start bashing everyone. My goodness, that was not worth stirring up, and I deleted it. I hardly seem to make time to do anything for myself lately, so the Facebook attention was just way too much and reminded me of what is important versus what is not. Those are the choices we make. Every day we make choices. And, sometimes it's better just to keep our opinions to ourselves because it does stir up a storm or conflict. Sometimes it's better to spit it out and just let others know this is how I feel. So it's all about discernment when we make our choices. Sally says, page 17 in the 333 book. Oh, I love this little book so much. So Tony is asking for message 333, as those are her numbers, and I really need to get her this book. Okay, so the pages only go to 127 in the tiny book for the messages, but you asked for page 17, so that's the one I'm going to. And so let's see what it says. In life, you will probably encounter many situations that do not seem fair or just. Refuse to hand over your power in any circumstance. When there is something that happens and you have no control over it, stop dwelling on it. Stand in your divine authority as you move forward. I think this was a huge message for Tony, my friend, because you do go through a lot that is just like, what the heck? Will this ever end? There's a lot of storms that enter your life. And it's the case with many of us, and especially many light workers go through those experiences like the storm that just rolls in. We have no control over it. And so things happen. But the point is, if we keep dwelling on what happened, right? That experience that happened, and we keep regurgitating that over and over again. We tell that story. We wear it like a banner, victim, whatever it might be. I've got this or this happened. I've been abused. Whatever that is, we wear it like it's this proud banner that we're walking around with. And that's not a judgment. I'm just stating this is what we do. This is what I've done. I've done this. So when we realize that, we can take that banner off and we can either just show up as our beautiful self, or we can put another banner on. We can put the banner of love. I am a believer. I am a survivor. Whatever that banner is, that face that you want to show to the world, show that face. Don't show victimhood. Don't show and keep talking about all the bad things, and that's another judgment, but all those experiences that didn't lift you up. And Sally says, I'm tired of that stinking banner. I took a huge pair of scissors, like the candy they use for city ribbon cutting ceremonies, and I cut that banner off. I don't want it anymore. How would I just say, all it takes? That seriously is all it takes. And you can do that in your mind. Or you can have a pair of scissors and just envision that you're cutting a banner. Take it off. You don't need it. What we do need is to realize we're on the other side of that. We came through that storm. Just like me, I came through that storm last night. I didn't panic. I didn't cry. I didn't stomp my feet and say, why, God, why are you sending me this tornado? No, I just was at peace. When I sat with Magi, I wanted her to be at peace. So I didn't get all upset. I didn't pace the floor. I just said, okay, this is a storm. We can make it through this storm, Magi. Whatever happens, we're going to make it through. And I did reach out to her mom and dad and let them know what was going on. because this is their house. So they needed to be aware there was a huge storm that was coming in their area. So thank you, Sally, for choosing that page, because I think that many of us are wearing banners still that just maybe we could release them. Maybe we can choose to let them go. I always say make a better choice. Be a better human by making better choices. And that better choice is to not keep dwelling on what happened to us. They were experiences. When we learn that an experience is neutral, we're halfway there. An experience is just an experience. We called them to us. When we came to Earth, we inhabited this human body. We said, okay, I'm going to learn about grief. I'm going to learn about love. I'm going to learn about disease. I'm going to learn about how to overcome. And so we chose certain things and lessons for us as we came onto this earth plane. So whatever happens, there's no blame, there's no shame, there's no guilt. They're just our experiences that are for our soul growth. So looking at each of our experiences and saying, okay, I see that, without being upset, without being angry, just I see that experience for what it was. It was my teacher, it was my lesson. Holly, good morning, darling. So glad you're here. Oh, I love you too, sweetheart. Thank you for coming in. And Sally says, you're so welcome. It's time for a good old-fashioned ribbon cutting. I believe it is. I do believe it is. And Brandy, I'm so happy that you're working close with me on this. And yeah, we're going to get those messages indexed so that and faith. Did we put faith on there on the list? I can't remember right now. But if it isn't, please add it, Brandy, because that's a huge one. And Sue says, on Sunday, join Teri and Dr. Ruth Anderson for a silent meditation at 11 a.m. Just 30 minutes of going inward and upward. This small but powerful pause can transform your perspective and your life. It really can. Those meditations are amazing that we do on Sunday mornings. Well, I'll take that title of Auntie Joy. I love that. And thank you, Deirdre, for giving us our prayers. Let's go into our prayer time. If you have anything on your heart and you would like to share it with us so we can lift you up, go ahead and put it in there. And Sally, you're starting to get snow. Oh boy, we're supposed to get cooler weather this weekend. I don't know if it's going to snow or not. But it looks like we're getting more rain for sure. All right, so Brandy, you're adding faith. Thank you. Yeah, I just did those off the top of my head last night, so we'll be adding some more, Brandy, as we go along. And thank you, Deirdre, for giving us the daily prayer for all humans, for Gaia and all who live on her back, for world peace, attention to human trafficking, support for all families living with addiction, and prayers for our country of the United States. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so prayers for anybody traveling right now, anyone who might be out in weather, even those going back and forth to work. You need those prayers every day if you're, especially in an area where there's ice or snow on the ground. You don't know where 11 a.m. came from? Oh, I don't know where 11 a.m. came from, Sally. But Sally gives us a prayer for the lost, the lonely, the unloved, the forgotten, the homeless, and all those living in fear of another. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Prayers for all in need. And a Super Bowl meditation. Okay, Charlie. I don't know what that's all about. Um, I'm not into football, so I don't really follow any of the bowls. Sue says Colorado is welcoming some snow this weekend. Precious water nourishes life. I know. We might complain about the snow, but it does have a purpose and it does help in areas, especially Colorado is so prone to wildfires. So they need that snow to dampen the ground and have enough water to put out the fires. Okay, Annie, not sure what that is. You got a good taste of snow, Annie. Yes, you certainly did in Louisiana. All right, let's go into our hearts. Just breathe, relax. Let's listen to the birds. The birds call out to us with messages. Sometimes they sing songs of joy, and that can lift our vibration. Sometimes they tell us a story, much like Teri, the storyteller. They tell us about their adventures and where they've been and what they've seen. Sometimes it's a warning of what's coming. We get messages from anywhere and everywhere. So as we listen to the sweet sound of the chirping of the birds, just envision they're calling out names. They're calling out all those names on our prayer list. They're calling out your name, lifting you up, bringing your attention to you and whatever your need is, and lifting it up to our Creator. So let's fly with the birds. Just envision that you have wings and you can fly right along beside of them. And they're chirping as they go, so you can start singing out as you go. Sing out the names of your loved ones that you want to lift up. Sing out the names of those who have asked us to lift them. If there's something going on, something that they need healing in any way, any form, just sing that out as we lift our vibration up, up, up we go. We soar up to the great central sun of Source, God Creator. We talk to all of the divine. Divine Mother is there. Jesus is there. The Ascended Masters, angels and archangels. And we bring these names, we bring these messages of hope. And we ask for each prayer to be seen, heard, acknowledged, and answered for the highest and best good of all concerned. And let's just give gratitude. Our Friday is that we've all flown together, lifting up the prayers, lifting up each other. And we say thank you. Thank you to our Creator. Thank you to all of divinity. Thank you to everyone that gathered together this morning. I love you so much. How about a song? The birds are singing to us. Let's get our Leo singing to us. And thank you, birdies. But now it's time for that morning cup of joy. And remember, there's a part in the song that says, accept, align, allow. Leo came up with a dance move for us when it gets to that. So if you don't know it, it's accept, align, allow. So when we get to that part of the song, do the dance. You can dance the whole time, but do the AAA dance.
Good morning, Earthlings. It's time to get up and get ready because today's the perfect day to have a great day.
Well, okay. Thank you, Charlie. Sunday Super Bowl, and yes, we will do a meditation, and we'll do the afternoon cuppa.
For peace on our mission for harmony. Mama, be on the lead wherever we may be. We create a
Thank you,
world where we can
Brandy.
be
Remembering
together.
all those with
Our time is
dementia or
precious, no
touched
responsible
by
all
it
the
in
way.
any form.
Waiting on the guys, the angels, and the masters,
Well,
taking
that's
you
good to know,
perfectly
Blue.
into a new dimension. Morning cup
Oh,
full of
thank you,
joy, a very
Sue. I
day
appreciate you
to start
so
the day on
much.
a high vibe we call the triple A. Morning cup full of joy with all the peas and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste.
Up, up,
Morning cup
up.
full of
I
joy, a
can hear
very
little Max
day to
saying
start
that.
the day on a high vibe we call the triple A. Morning cup full of joy with all the peas and the
He's in the
pod. The
pod.
daily
That's
mantra is
us.
thank you, I love you,
When
namaste.
Magi hears this song, she knows that I'll be getting up soon to take her outside. So she is on alert right now.
Cup full of joy, full of light, full of love. Bottomless refuse, spilling out from the top. Here, the coffee's always hot and the trust is always yours. The sun is calling out to play, let's put on a show. Today's a new day, we all part of this game. Let's play to win. Love always is the winning
We
team.
are the
Look
winning
inside the glass,
team.
there is always no space in the pot. Full of love, take a spot and get the day started. Morning cup full of joy, every day to start the day on a high vibe, we call the triple A. Morning
Doing
cup
the
full of
rolling
joy with all the peas
dance.
and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste. Morning cup full of joy, every day to start the
Are
day
you
on a high vibe, we
dancing?
call the
Are you
triple A.
dancing?
Morning cup
Come
full of
dance with
joy with all the
me.
peas
Come
and the
dance
pod.
with
The daily
me.
mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste.
Dance. Here we go. Here we go. 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 All right. Get ready for the dance. Oh, thank you, Brookie. I'm so glad you're here. All right, here we go.
There really is no secret. We
It's
simply
simply
accept,
accept,
align,
align,
allow.
allow.
Triple
Triple
A,
A love.
morning cup full of joy every
I'm a crawling
day. To
dog.
start the day on the high five, we call the triple A. Morning cup full of joy with all the peas and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste.
Hey,
Morning cup full
y'all.
of joy every day. To start the day on the high five, we call the triple
It's a
A.
ball.
Morning cup
It's a
full of
ball.
joy with all the peas and the pod.
Oh,
The daily mantra is thank you,
oh.
I love you, namaste.
Let's play up joy. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, it is a happy dance, Emily. It's a ball. Look at the ball. It's the ball. Doesn't it feel good, Brookie? I think we can make a qigong move out of that. Woo! Thank you, Leo, and thank you, Peas. I love you so much. I will see you tomorrow morning on the Morning Cuppa. Bye for now. Oh, Magi says bye, everybody. Say bye. Come on. Come on. Come up and say bye. Come and say bye to the peas. Tell the peas bye. There they are, right there. Magi, right here. Right here, silly. She's ready for OUT. I love you all so much. Stay in your heart. Stay blessed.